Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all. Welcome to FYI. For your information, I am Joretta Finance joining you this morning. Guys, it is Friday, the 8th of July, 2022, and we are here with you to bring you the credible information. You know, TGIF, thank God it's Friday. We're going to be off to a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hopefully, I'm keeping my enthusiasm up. I don't want to be giving any negative vibes this Good Friday morning. Not Good Friday, but this Good Friday morning, as in Friday has been a good morning. So don't go saying Gerard just saying it's Good Friday. How have you been? Let me know what's going on at your end. Beatrice Selby, I know you've been up and about very, very early this morning. Dave Durrell, Dave, I've been missing you. You have been a little bit out. Lovely of you to join this morning's program. I see Aubrey Lennox is here this morning also, and is it from Raquel Gentle? Good morning to you. How are you doing? It is great to have you guys joining us this morning. This morning, I want to go the program a little bit more, as much as the interaction can be. So much to discuss, and we're going to continue to have those discussions as the program progresses. I see Joy Hopkinson is here with us this morning. Good morning to you, Joy. How are you? How have you been? Let us know there in the comments section. Lynn Finance, Brooklyn in the house there. Good morning to you, Lynn. How are you doing? Great to have you. Edward Gonzalez from the Bronx saying good morning there to everyone. I see Don Cook, Irville Don Cook, that is, coming from the west side, the best side as we refer to it here in Guyana. And then I'm seeing Edward Jacobs. Good morning to you, Edward. Guys, how have you been? You know, the week goes out so quickly here. It's unbelievable. The week always goes by so quickly. You know, Monday we had no process, just 4 programs for FYI for this week. So I feel a little bit like we've not been speaking to you enough, but it is what it is. We're gonna have a full week next week, from Monday to Friday. So we're gonna be good. Malapande, good morning to you, Malapande. What's going on at your end? Let me know. Mr. John Jones, good morning to you, sir. Over there in the comment section, signing in very early. And Gladstone Matthews, good morning, Gladstone. Gladstone is saying good morning to everyone there. So say good morning to Gladstone in the comment section. Glycis Mingo Born, up and about very early, one of the most ardent followers of the program. Always a pleasure to have you here. We appreciate every single time you log on and you wake up in the morning and you choose to spend your time with us. Very, very, very important for us to do that. Guys, how have you been? And I am just a little bit distracted. I'm seeing something at my end. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so I see, is it Roxanne Ward is here with us this morning. Also, Roxanne, how have you been? You know what I asked you to do. I asked you to always share the program. Make sure that you share the program so that we can have the valid and credible information disseminated through all platforms. It is absolutely necessary for us. We are coming to you on several platforms already, but we need to integrate a little bit more persons that's logged in. I know that a lot of persons don't as yet share the link to WhatsApp groups, and so, but I encourage you also to share the link to WhatsApp groups. Those things are extremely important for us to do. I see Magnell Barrow is saying, watching from Brooklyn. Good morning to my FYI family. Magnell, oh, it's great to have you here with us this morning, Magnell from Brooklyn. Paulette Hawk Kippins is here with us also. Paulette, let us know what is going on at your end. And I'm seeing Henrietta Anthony. I'm going to be taking a little bit of question answering in the segments there, coming from the comment section this morning as much as I possibly can. I'm going to try to make Friday's discussion as interactive as I possibly can. So let me know what's going on. Let me know if there's anything that you need clarification on. I know you've been reading what is going on in Guyana. There are so many news platforms, some credible, some not. However, whatever you've read or so you need clarifications on, just let me know and I'll be sure to join. I'll be sure to give you a response to the best of my knowledge and ability at this time. If I need to do further research, I'll just let you know that. Karen Clark, good morning to you, Karen Clark. How are you doing? And Stanislaus Washington, they're joining us from Sutherland, England. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Edward Broom says present, and Facebook user. Facebook user, we need a name to this profile. Says good morning, everyone. Looking great, Loretta. Oh, thank you so much. Is it Nicoletta Campbell says good morning. Good morning to you, Nicoletta Campbell and GT Boy. Hey, GT Boy, good morning to you. I'm not seeing GT Rude Girl in the comment section as yet. Maybe she's a little late. Let us know what is going on. It's Friday. We have been discussing so much for the week. I'm sure there are things that you yourself would want to have some input in. You want to weigh in on some pertinent issues that have been going on, whether it have been the issues that we have been discussing throughout the week, or if there are new issues, just let us know. Some of the things that we've been dealing with, some things that I'm very, very passionate about, especially what is going on right at home for me in region number 7 when it pertains to the hinterland cash grant that is being distributed in a very marginalized, discriminatory way there in region number 7, the hinterland region. So guys, a lot of things to discuss. Let me know what is bothering you. I'm still going to keep pressing forward when it comes to the school cash grant and the fact that it should not be tied in to any regulations that says any requirement or stipulation altogether. It was budgeted for everyone. It should go forward like that. And again, I'm going to say at no point in time did I make a statement saying that I'm not in support of textbook being given back. I'm saying, but you don't tie those two together. No, it is not to be tied together, and there's no justification for putting policies in place that creates an avenue for corruption. That is my point, and nobody, including the Minister of Education, has not even attempted to come and give any bit of clarity to that issue. Marlon Thomas, good morning to you, Marlon. What's going on at your end? Let me know what is going on at your end. Absolutely great to have you here. I see Paulette is saying, great to hear all the information from FYI. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. I see Facebook user here. If you just give me a moment, Facebook user is asking, I want to know how it is that sugar is scarce in Guyana, especially after so many billions of taxpayers' dollars continue to be pumped into that industry. Why all of a sudden sugar disappeared? When it comes to sugar, we've been focusing a lot. We've been talking a lot about sugar, and specifically, I've been very keen to point out to you guys that sugar, the budgetary projections that have been made by the very PPP that's in office right now, every year they come to the National Assembly and they give a lower target as compared to the previous year. That's how they have been doing it, because they themselves know that they are looking at the constant decline in the production capacity of sugar with all that is going on. But they are not going to the people and saying that. And I've been very keen to say that the 2021 budget, as opposed to the 2022 budget that has been presented in the National Assembly, is actually seeing the decline, the production target that they have set themselves. The Minister of Finance, the Minister with responsibility for finance within the Office of the Prime Minister, within the Office of the President, Ashley Singh, he has gone forward and actually given a production level that is less than that he projected in 2020. He's basically telling people that every year we're going to be producing less sugar. All right, that's what he's saying without saying that. That's what the numbers say. Sometimes we have to be very keen and very much observant to the numbers, and that they are all together. So let us be very, very clear. That is what they know is going to happen. They know that the production level of sugar is going to be lower. When it comes to rice production, I think it is appalling, the figures that are coming out, especially out of the reports, the first quarter report and so forth, coming out of the Bank of Guyana. Those things should never be. It is absolutely ridiculous, and they need to be called out. And again, I have to say, we can speak about these matters because under the coalition administration, rice production, did the best ever in the history of our country. So that's why I have the confidence, and I think that I can say very proudly, because of the statistical reports given during the time of the coalition being in office, would give merit and act as proof to what I'm saying, that the coalition had managed rice and the rice sector and the sugar industry way better than the PPP is managing it. The sugar production that was under the coalition's administration was way better than it is currently under the PP administration. Again, we have to go back to the statistics and for you to understand what exactly we're dealing with. It's all nice and good for persons to go forward. As you see, day after day, the PP administration will go forward. They would go into the communities and say that they know what is best and the coalition didn't do it right and so forth. But what they're not going to tell you is that their production levels right now, as it pertains to rice and sugar, those levels are way beneath the production levels that were experienced under the APNU AFC coalition. What they're not going to be telling you when they go into those regions and so forth is that the inflation rate that persons are looking at right now, particularly when it comes to the inflation rate in the price of basic food items, those inflation rates were not experienced during the APNU AFC's time in office. Those are the things that they don't tell you, but that's why we're having these programs. That's why we're very keen with the information and bringing it forward. So, and I'm seeing Raj, is it Raj Narayan? Raj Narayan is actually trying to challenge what I just said, actually questioning it, what as to the rice production. Raj, I think after the program, I'm going to specifically go back to the comment section, and I'm going to tag you in the reports. I'm going to tag you in the Bank of Guyana reports during the time that the coalition was in office. I'm going to tag you in those specific reports that had no choice but to give the facts, to say that those production levels were the best ever in the history of the country. Now the reports that we're seeing, I'll tag you in the current report as well, that says that the current production has declined. And you know, there's so much we can have these discussions, and I always say I encourage persons to engage in a conversation like Raj Narayan there has just engaged there. And I appreciate the feedback, but again, I'll say that for your information and for your knowledge and for the other person's knowledge that is also there commenting in the comment section, I will tag those reports, because it is not okay for you to just believe that you can justify something when the statistical proof is there to basically go against what you're saying. Best ever production of rice was under the APNU AFC coalition government. When it comes to sugar production, the numbers were extremely higher than it is right now under the PP administration. I know that it's a hard pill for folks to swallow, especially if you are supporters of the PP administration. I understand that. I understand that you want to believe that the administration that you support actually goes out there and they feed factual information to you. But when you have to go into the reports that's coming out from the Bank of Guyana and so forth, you would understand that they have been feeding you a dream that them themselves know cannot be accomplished. So I understand the position you're in. It's a hard pill for you to swallow, but the data is what it is, statistical proof out there. But I appreciate the question there. I'm seeing Paul Simon there. I said Simone Hopper, I'm seeing there also. Is it Kathy? Hey, Kathy, what is going on? And Rhonda Gordon, good morning to you, Rhonda. How are you folks doing this morning? I'm going through the comments as best as I possibly can so that I'm not going to miss a lot of the questions. If I miss a question, don't feel no worries, because I haven't seen it. If I miss your question, it's just because I have not seen it. I see Mr. John Jones saying talks facts direct. Yes. And we have to, at every point in time, as much as we possibly can, guys, we have to answer the question. The easy questions, the hard question, whatever the questions are. And I always appreciate it when persons come on, especially persons that support the PPP administration, come on and they ask the questions. I'm seeing my best friend there, Candace, in the comment section. Good morning to you. Hope that you are well up and about there in New York. I am seeing Gwyneth Anderson. Gwyneth Anderson, what is going on with you, Mr. Chisel Chipper 68? How are you doing over there? And Alana, is it Alana McAllister? Blessed morning to you guys. Bring the questions. I'm not afraid of any questions. I always tell folks, I'm not afraid of any question. Question me on any one of these matters. Once the information is at my fingertips, you're going to get the answers. I'm seeing folks have to start. No, Simon and Hooper, we're not going to do anything when it concerns smuggling of anything whatsoever. Guys, it's it's a tough position right now for the PPP administration. It's a tough position. It's basically they are at a place that it is impossible for them to go out and give information against the facts that are being presented. And I'm looking keenly. I know that there are some very interesting reports that I'm waiting on coming out from bodies like the Bureau Statistics and so forth. And I'm going to be on those pages every single day to make sure as soon as those reports are released, I bring you the information as current as it can possibly be. One of those bits and pieces of information that you should be very interested in. I'm seeing a lot of reporting going on right now, especially yesterday when it comes to the inflation rate and the fact that there was a report, the first quarter report coming out from the Bureau of Statistics that was actually looking at the inflation rate for the first quarter and actually saying that the inflation rate as projected at the end of the year would have been, I believe, 4.1, but basically the same projection that was set at the level of the National Assembly there back in February, that was announced at the level of the National Assembly in the budget presentation in February. Guys, what I want you to understand, however, is that first quarter report is just for that first quarter, January, February, March. It is just for the first quarter. And it has not taken into consideration that even since then, and I want persons that are reporting on this matter to be very keen to look at the current figures when it comes to inflation in our country. And when you look at the current figures, as I think when you bring it up to May, the figures coming out from the Bureau of Statistics would actually show you that the inflation rate was already over 3%. So when you look at those figures, you know that the current administration is not going to achieve any target of 4.1% at the end of the year. No, they're not going to do that. The actual inflation rate, as it, in my humble projection, is going to be anywhere around 7% at the end of the year. They can come fight me for that. But again, I'll say at the end of the year, we're going to see who was right and who was wrong. But very, very pertinent information for us all to look at. Very, very much so. I'm seeing Magnell Barrow. Okay, I'm not seeing what's going on I'm seeing Ala Finance in the comment section saying rice is down by 51.1%, sugar down by 47.7%. Try as you may, that's going to be a hard thing for them to spin. Yeah, basically that's what I've just said. Try as you may. I know, guys. I know all the trolls that come on in the morning. Each and every one of you, I understand that you have a mandate to come and to represent and to defend the PPP administration. We get that, we understand that, and I see some of you, not even trolls, that come on and you try to the best of your ability and capacity to actually defend their projects and their policy directives and so forth. But we have been saying and we have been consistently telling you, and I'm not a cuss out person, as you would know, that's just not who I am. We've been consistently telling you in some very nice ways that it can't happen, and what they're preaching to you, the policy directives that they have been utilizing, is going to go contrary to what they've been preaching. As you're seeing it right now, the reports that are coming out, these are not international reports. It's one thing for them to say the IRIs didn't do things to the best of how it should have been done, so the IRI surveys and so should be shelved and all of those things. These are reports coming out from the Bank of Guyana. These reports are factual data, and they cannot go out there and dispute it. Rice is down, sugar is down. Come on, you have to look at, even when it comes to the gold declaration and all of those things, very, very pertinent information for us to be looking at. Guys, when it comes to oil production, the first quarter as compared to the first quarter in 2021, also, that has decreased. Let us look at the numbers. Let us be very factual. I've been consistently saying their policy directions have been failing you as a people and will continue to fail you if they don't actually look at policy measures that's going to benefit the ordinary Guyanese. We're seeing what's happening. They're not looking at policy measures when it comes to the non-oil sector. I've been consistently saying that it has been in shambles. they won from them reaching into office. This is coming from the same body that went on campaigning prior to the 2020 election, saying that the coalition government was not concerned with the non-oil sector, everything was being focused on oil. And the very same administration that said that, the very same body of people that went out on their platforms and told you that they're in a situation now that every single one of those sectors are suffering because they have not instituted any policy directive to actually get out there and to strengthen those non-oil sector. And that's why there's a lot of talk about the Dutch disease and all of those things, folks. You have to stay awake. Don't just suck up the information. That's why I said to the individual before that I'm going to be tagging him in information. It must never be that, oh, you come here and I say it, so it should be the gospel. It should go fact check what I'm saying. I always challenge you to do that. Go fact check. And I'm going to aid you with that little bit of help to say, well, this is the document, just link it from the Bank of Guyana website and so forth so that you can read it for yourself, so that you never go out there and try to defend something when there are statistical data that go contrary to what persons tell you and that what you have been repeating. So I'll try to help to the best of my ability in that regard. I see Alex Green, and I'm seeing Simone. Is it Simone Hooper? Says some folks, critical thinking. I don't want, a lot of times we are in a society that people believe what they believe, and people try to hold on to whatever it is that they have been told, especially when it comes to people that they believe to be credible and persons that they believe that has their best interests at heart. Again, I have to say, and I think it's Sherrod has said it even yesterday, that at no point in time did the data that we put forward was ever challenged by anyone, because it's always credible, it's always completely fact-checked and all of that. So guys, very, very important that you do your own bit of research, but I'm going to help as best as I possibly can. Rhonda Monroe, hey Rhonda, what is going on with you? Guys, we're going to go, I want to head into the morning papers a little bit. I've been giving you a lot of chit chat as to what is going on. Very, very pertinent information. And I believe I want to head into the morning papers at this point in time. And the first thing I want to say is that I've noticed it in Starbucks News today is that AmSham is launching a young entrepreneur pitch contest with 1 million top prize, right? And it says the American Chamber of Commerce and Industry Guyana is organizing a Shark Tank style pitch event for young entrepreneurs who could win up to $1 million in funding and capital investment. Very, very interesting. And this is something I'm going to be pitching out some more information on. I mean, sometimes I think these people we're giving them free ads and all of that, but very, very interesting piece there. And anyone that knows about the Shark Tank initiatives, you have venture capitalists and so forth would go into these to these contests and actually pledge their finances towards developing businesses that they believe have the potential for success with whatever arrangement they do at the back end as it pertains to part ownership and so forth. That's a different question, but I'm not going to go into that. But I definitely will be looking at the directive that AmSham is taking. And I say young entrepreneurs throughout the length and breadth of this country, go out there, showcase yourselves. We have brilliant, brilliant, brilliant minds in Guyana. And I have to say that any opportunity that is there for you to showcase your skill and showcase your intellectual capacity, make sure that you go out there and you do that. And it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunshine. And if you hear the cheers, guys, when there is a sunshine, what goes on at our end? We are shifting things around. We are shifting things around.
Everybody.
When we give that.
How are we doing? I have energy for half hour. Morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you, Ravi, Dirupan, Grant Anderson. I see Lila Abbas, Sukal, and all the other folks, Monica Scott, Kathy, Nazarene, and Alana Tang. Port Kaichuma's in the house. I hear you're asking where they are, Alana. Are they here? Are they here? What are you going to say now? I am here. Please and thank you. We're here, folks. Good morning. Morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy to be here.
Charlotte is in the house right now, so I'm going to have to get a little bit more of my comments
happy
section
to be
going.
Here. And happy to have so many folks with us this morning. Clifton Smith, and I see Naomi's here as well. Naomi, good morning. Good morning to you. Maureen Coppin Williams with us too. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Happy to have each and every one of you here. Really happy to have you guys here with us.
I see. One of the comments that I'm looking at is from Earl, and we're just going through. I'm trying my best to take a lot of questions in. You know how we are trying
Go
to
ahead. Go
accommodate
ahead.
as many persons as possible. But I'm seeing Earl is saying that the coalition saw good growth without the oil, and so basically cautioning persons not to come to just try to defend
Yeah.
persons
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
the data. And to
Yeah.
add to that, not only did the without oil simply meant for the coalition that you had less resources all in terms of capital capacities for you to spend.
Yeah.
And I made a point up to yesterday that currently between 2020, 2021, and 2022, those budgets that was passed in the National Assembly for the PPP, those three are the equivalent of what the coalition administration had actually utilized throughout the 5-year period.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? The problem
Right?
to me is not so much of the spending. If they were spending it on meaningful things that were coming back to benefit the guy, these
Yeah.
people as against, what we always talk about here is the fat cats at the top. The
That's the
cabal.
problem.
If it
That's
was
always a
it's just
problem.
focused on
Yeah.
them, and that's the trouble that we really have. If the people of this country were getting a fair share and a fair shake of that money, their piece of the pie, then all was well and good. But it seems as though it's just a few persons are benefiting like this. That's the trouble. That's the real trouble.
Very much so. Very
Yeah.
much of a big trouble. And Gwyneth Anderson and everyone is hoping that Sherrod is better. Are you better?
I'm coming to come. I'm coming to come. I'm coming to come. When you get old, everything in the past kind of touches. I don't know.
You take longer to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
well. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
when the
yeah.
older we get, we take longer to get well. Babies
Yeah.
are just and they're back
Yeah.
up and running.
I miss being not as old.
You miss being not as old.
Yeah. Carol Roberts, good to see you in Orin. Don Cook, I see again. Lots of Orin is joining us from Region 3. How is it over there this morning?
Yes.
How is the weather where you guys are? Please let us
Our was
know.
very early this morning.
Please let us know. And as we're talking about over the river, why not, have you guys see what the bridge report looks like? It doesn't look like we're going to have a bridge closure tomorrow, unless they haven't announced that yet. And the weather is fine too. Tomorrow's a holiday, believe it or not. Believe it or not, tomorrow is a holiday. And if it's a holiday, it means that we're going to be off. So just alerting you guys one time with that. We're going to be off tomorrow
With the
from all our
podcast.
programs. Well, the podcast only on the weekends. We're going to be off tomorrow with the podcast. That being said, Drita, you're in the morning papers. I'm going to let you.
Yes. Well, I
let you
was
go.
just mentioning the fact that Amsham is launching this what they're referring to
Good
as
for them.
a similar style to Shark Tank, right? So I'm encouraging persons to be a part of that. That's one of
Good
the
for
first
them.
things.
Good for them.
I want to be looking at it, reading the fine prints how I usually do.
Yeah. Money got to make. We got to make it. Money
gotta
needs
read
to
the
be
fine
made. Go
print.
after it, folks. Go after it.
I see also in the morning paper that police constable committed to stand trial over killing of Orrin Boston.
Finally.
This is
Finally. Well, of course, at this point, we don't get excited. When the charge, no excitement, confession, all that. When you see conviction, then you could start, popping out the bottles and so on. But we understand how this country go. Files just go missing, charges are dropped, and all kinds of things. So when we see a conviction, we can say, justice has been done.
Yeah, and I have to note at this point in time that I know that there are some very much of professionals that have been calling for a coroner's inquest when it comes to the murder of Orrin Boston, and also added to that is now the young man that was murdered here also.
Yeah.
So I do have to note that because there have been very strong arguments being put forward as to why a coroner's inquest should be the route. And I do note that I think that I did hear, I believe it was none other than Timothy Jonas saying that that if it doesn't go down that route, I think they're going to approach the court to seek that to seek intervention for it to actually have that outcome.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
optimistic that
something
things
for
are
us
just
to-
moving.
Yeah.
I think they're just moving. Very optimistic where that's concerned. And I'm sure certain some of you guys are as well. Of course, we ain't celebrating yet, because there's a presumption of innocence until proven guilty. That's when the conviction comes.
Yes, and back to as when it comes to crime in our country, oh my goodness, when it comes to motorbike and bicycle bandits, I think we have exhausted our limit with this nonsense.
Correct.
It is the most ridiculous I've ever seen in the history of any.
Yeah, we have the charge right now. Right, we're spiraling and off the charge.
It is ridiculous.
Of the church.
to be going home and persons on a bicycle or a motorbike just riding up to you.
Well,
It's like a
going home
normal.
at home,
It
out.
has become so ridiculous that this is like unexpected. But you see somebody coming on a bike, you pulling in the corner. So, or you see two, three boys on a bicycle, you pulling in the corner. It's crazy. That
Correct.
should not be. And I consistently say that these individuals are known in the communities and they need to be reported. They need to be
Yeah.
reported.
Ain't no condoning that. Ain't no
Come
condoning
on,
that.
you
We're all
know
entitled
them,
to.
you speak out, you get them out. It's not
Yeah.
okay. What are we breeding? What are we encouraging when we just leave
Yeah.
it be?
Is there a crime tips helpline locally? Is there? There's number you can call if you know somebody. Is there a crime tip helpline?
Well, that would be most interesting to have something
Yeah.
like that. But particularly on that matter, motorbike bandits rob medical students in Alberton.
Yeah.
The medical students there, police are on the hunt for two bandits who robbed a 22-year-old medical student of over 200,000 in cash and his cellular phone on Wednesday night. Reports are that the
Correct.
robbery occurred around 21:30 hours, and while Prakash and his friends were walking along 5th Street, Alberton, Georgia. This is not okay. The robbery was carried out by the two bandits on a motorcycle, and police said one of the suspects was armed with a knife. One of the suspects armed with a knife. And again, I'm saying that if you were to look at the footage, a lot of footage has been coming out from various home CCTV footage, and I have to say that these persons, sometimes you look at these things and you say, how is it that one particular person is riding around a particular area
We gotta watch that.
consistently for so long and nobody's pulling him in, nobody's reporting
We
it,
gotta watch that.
and then they're off again, off to commit another crime.
We gotta watch that. And the point we were making just yesterday, you see my throat already going down? The trouble we had is that we have lots.
Share this on a different
that?
wavelength when it comes to his throat right
Yeah.
now, guys.
Yep.
I'm going to be giving him some emergency to drink.
The challenge that we have. We see these police stops with lots of policemen on the road. That's where they're actually needed.
But where they're actually needed, they're never there. And when persons call them, they seldom come.
That's the challenge we
Right?
have.
Well, they not seldom come, but they take forever to get there. Well, if they do arrive.
That's the challenge we have.
It's crazy.
You
We
pack up
can't
at
do
you
that.
pack up at the roadblock. Where they're actually needed. That's the challenge.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. But we cannot continue like that.
Yep. Something's got to be done.
Right? Just bear with us for
With
2
the crime
seconds.
prevention plan, they promise.
Again.
With the crime prevention plan. Yep.
I'm back front and center. Mr. Duncan is trying with, he tried to be here with us for a couple seconds there, but he's going to try to come back a little later. Give him a few minutes to sort himself out with his old throat, more so. But a lot has to be done when it comes to crime. It's not okay for you to go out and just give a report to say that, it's high risk Saturday or something like that, and then you never come back to say, this is the intervention, this is the plan we have. At what point in time do you have a meeting with the people at the market to say, we're having a system set up that is going to aid in making sure that you can discreetly, identify persons that you believe are committing crimes in that area or something like that. More innovative methods needs to be utilized. We cannot continue to operate as though it is all well and good. It's not all well and good. It's not okay when the medical students can't go home in peace without someone sticking them up from a motorbike. It's not okay when students can't go home from a sport activity without somebody sticking them up from a bicycle. Those things are not okay, and let us keep calling them out. I'm yet to see any community representatives that went to the police station and said, our community body being formed and that body working alongside the police to say, these are the folks that have been making trouble in the community. This is not something that we encourage, and we want your intervention to make sure that it is not operating anymore. There are too many cases in which we have person saying, oh, there's a drug yard, or oh, somebody that steals live there. That's not okay. How is that okay? At some point in time, intervention needs to be had. And as a community, I consistently say we need to break down the structure, the crime structure altogether. We need to break it down. We need to put persons before the court that is knowingly buying things that are stolen and then selling it back to persons. We need to break all of those systems down. It is not okay for us to do that. So that is another part that we're looking at, but we have to consistently continue. Anyway, moving forward, folks, moving forward. Oh, this one is a bit, I think, a bit of good news coming out there from the Guyana Police Force. Let me just open it up. Carbon noise nuisance, and it says Top Cop receives 25 noise meter from the EPA, 25 noise meters from the EPA being received there by the Top Cop. Guys, well, you've been listening and know that our affiliate program in the ring had done a lot of work in reporting when it comes to what is going on with noise nuisance. Persons can't sleep. The woman says that she can't sleep any night at all because of the loud music there throughout the night. Persons should not be subjected to such discomfort. It is absolutely crazy. But yet we have it going on. She's been calling the police. This situation, I want to say, let me just not isolate it to what we've been pushing on, but this has been throughout the country. We have businesses being set up in area that should be considered residential areas and all of those things, and it is just chaos altogether. We have to move forward to a more structured system again, that people will be able to sleep in comfort and peace in the comfort of the home, and that they work so hard to build. It's not okay for folks just to be blasting music at all hours of the night from business places. That is not what should ever be. So kudos to the EPA for actually going in that direction to actually hand over those noise meter, decibel meter. That's how I know it. Never mind, they're just saying noise meter here. So the decibel meters, that's going to go over there to actually test the noise level. So persons should be keeping it at a level that is acceptable in the community. So good going there. And I have to say again, sometimes we are very happy when we say things that we stress on a whole lot, that those things are actually interventions are being made for those things to be dealt with. So that's one of them, and we'll continue to make intervention on other matters. Make sure that you just let us know what is going on, because when we speak about things, when you make enough representation, actions come and follow. So we hope that those meters will be used in the very near future, and it is not just packaged off and put in some corner. I hope will be used in the very near future, so that persons would actually see some sort of relief when it comes to noise nuisance in the community. But that's just a drop in the ocean as it compares to the size of our country and amount of those that would be needed to actually effectively have change in other regions as well. Guys, I want to go to the international front and what is going on there. Well, let me just move to the regional. I think that we have exhausted our timing when it comes to that. Good. MP Harris remains mum on date for general elections there. MP Harris remains mum on date for general elections there, and we're seeing now that residents of St. Kitts and Nevis wait with bated breath for the Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, to announce the general elections date. We have been looking at it. I see, I think my colleague, my co-host, Mr. Duncan, is going to be back on with us right now. He is trying desperately to be a part and to get you guys and to engage with you guys. So this is something that he's been following specifically as well. Sharon is getting a
because
whole
of
lot
us.
Sharon, you're having a whole lot of remedies being recommended
That's what
to
I'm
you
telling you. I'm
in
trying
the
so many
comments.
things. I think they will faster kill me than they will remedy the situation. There's so many things I've been trying. People have been recommending so many of this stuff. And I'm really thankful that people are trying to be so helpful. Right?
I see Candy said, Jarrett, you didn't answer my question. Candy, so sorry. I missed your question. If you can just
Look,
post
Candy
it
gonna fight
back.
me now.
If you can just post it back, I'll be happy to get to that. I missed that question. So sorry for
But
that.
Candy gonna fight me.
I think so.
Uh-uh.
I
It's
think
just,
Candy's gonna fight
it's
me for
just her.
this.
Folks, you're really trying at this end. Apologies again. Right? Apologies again. And on that story there out in Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Harris
Mm-hmm.
had several of his ministers resigned and
Uh-huh.
were actually about to move a no confidence motion against him when he had dissolved parliament. They're telling us that these elections are constitutionally due by the 8th of August. And so they're working towards that, but he has not made a formal announcement on precisely what date before that time the elections are going to be held. So he was facing similar to what just happened to Boris Johnson in the UK, but of course he took another route before that no confidence motion came. Asked the Governor General there to dissolve Parliament to engage national elections. But again, the folks are still waiting to see what comes out of that in terms of the date for that election. That's what's happening on that front. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah,
interesting,
yeah.
and
Very interesting
we know
indeed.
when it comes to elections
Very
and
interesting
these
indeed.
parts of the world, it's next level. Every single
Very much
last
so.
one. I don't
Very
know.
much so.
I
Very
don't
much
think we
so.
disappoint at any point in time to bring some sort
Very next
of
level.
uniqueness to the electoral system here,
Very next
especially
level.
in the Caribbean. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Vice News, Sherrod, what is going on?
Vice News. Don't even go to Vice News yet. Then we talk about what's happening in the Ghana Police Force and the
Oh,
promotion and so on.
knock
So
yourself
for
out.
instance, we're following this guys. Mr. Clinton Conway, who retired from the Ghana Police Force as
Mm-hmm.
Assistant Commissioner of Police. He's quite concerned about the lightning speed with which this list was approved because he said that due diligence seemed to not have been followed or is lacking totally here. You had a list that was put to the commission on Friday of 100 plus persons, and they would have already approved that list by Saturday. The kind of due diligence that is needed to ensure the persons who are on that list are truly deserving of promotion would have taken a longer time than that. And that is what the former Assistant Commissioner of Police is very concerned about. He said the list is bloated and it is defective, and is quite concerned about this lightning speed of which the list was approved. Yep, yep, yep.
Well, interesting that Mr. Conway is going in that route to say those, because I know that when it was published and when that article came out, the news reports all together, you also said the same thing. You said that it's interesting to you that was done with such speed.
The justice
You know,
sworn in, right?
immediately.
It's not people who would have been accustomed to that kind of system. You would take some time to find your feet, and then at least a week or two. But the next day, the list has already been approved.
But it begs
and
the
gone
question
forward.
whether or not they even met
That is
to
the other
go
thing.
through, and what was the criteria system, what was the system altogether that they
Yeah.
utilized to get to that. And I think that's what's been questioned, because we have to present a system of fairness. We have to present at these levels, these specific levels. That's why I spoke how I spoke yesterday about even the media release that came out from Mr. Brutus. Because when you are at these levels, you have to present to the community a system that is transparent, and one that person say, yes, we have confidence in this because it is
Yes.
transparent. We can see through every single step, how it was done, and because of that, now we have confidence. It's important for persons to do that, so I just advise people to go in that direction.
And like we have been discussing here, it's quite surprising to have seen himself now as an assistant commissioner of police, Calvin Brutus, come out with a very that statement. I think news source characterized it as an assault on the court, something to that nature,
Oh, wow.
and to the wider public too, because you were calling people minuscule and dubious and all kinds of things. It's quite surprising language from a man who is sworn to serve and protect members of the public.
Without fear or favor.
Yep.
Affection or ill will.
And while that is happening on that front, you've been covering the economic front, and we saw former Finance Minister Winston Jordan come out in an article in Culture News, I think just today, and he says you have to keep an eye on Exxon's accelerated development. And part of his contention here is that because the world market seems to favor prices right now,
Mm-hmm.
Exxon want to dig out as much as they can to get as much as they can. Now that has implications for us here too, because we are not geared to really and truly this oil and gas sector operating on full capacity. We could have barely scraped together two people to do the audit the other day of the 9 billion, and we got lots and lots of gray area. And among the things he was saying is that we got to watch these costs, these production costs,
Of course.
right? The production costs. I saw an article or 2 weeks ago we were talking about here. They got out of Kaiser News again that says the operational cost for ExxonMobil alone is far outstrips our GDP twice over, or some no our national budget rather, times over, right? So he was making the argument we got to watch these production costs because who's verifying they're spending what they say they're spending on that, and then we are the ones who settle with that debt at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that what Mr. Jordan is looking at there is the fact that when you understand, and that's why I consistently say, and I want to start off by saying, repeated times we have said right here that when you operate at the level of private sector mentality and all of those things, that there is one motive, and it's to maximize your profit margin. That's the motive there, right? And on the backdrop of that, Exxon is going to try right now with all that is going on. Every single thing that's going on right now is going to push them to see how much they can get out of this
Yeah,
current period because
yeah,
it maximizes their profit margin.
yeah.
However, as a country, and I think that's one of the things he pointed out there, as a country, we do not have the in-house expertise, as he put it over,
Correct,
to actually
correct.
be on par with what is going on and the rate at which they want to go. So because of that, it will put Guyana at a disadvantage in actually reaping the benefits that it should from all that is happening
Correct.
there.
Correct is right. And while we're on that front, folks, those of you who thought that Sugate had gone away from us, I invite you guys to share the live, smash that emoji button, partner with us even so that others get valid and credible information. Those of you who thought that Sugate had left us, well, quite a surprise yesterday when we saw Vice News releasing even more of that documentary that they did concerning Guyana for sale, even more of that. And Father have mercy, we're in a bad spot. When you look at the level of corruption and money laundering, we're in a bad spot. And what we're talking about, we're in the big issue this morning. And of course, we dub it as Sugate 2.0. Sugate 2.0, because you know what it says when those of you, I hope you get a chance to see it. It's the link is circulating there. It's on YouTube and all of that. When you look at that, you wonder when the poor in this country will ever move into like the middle class, right? There's a strata in this country where big business happens, big money passing, and so on. And in this iteration of Sugate and the Vice News mini documentary, The Island for Sale, in this iteration of it, you hear, businessmen talking about what was one of the screenshots that we saw? Let me see if we have that. Uh, it would be wrong if it would be worrying if Guyanese politicians and officials weren't corrupt, right? You see, the people know them, right? Corrupt, know the corrupt, because all of them in bed together. And I don't know how this administration is going to want to parse this, how they're going to want to spin it. But it could not be sheer coincidence. It could not be fabricated that all of these people in the business sector locally, especially these Chinese businessmen, got this one impression of this government, right? They corrupt, and once you know Jack Dio, everything all right? You can get things done. I am very I'm certain that they are shocked at all of this other stuff coming out, right? Because it shows you that really and truly there is so much corruption in this country. There's part of this new iteration of this Gallon for Sale mini documentary in which the man is telling them, this is Isabel Young and Mr. Chan or Yang or whatever his name is, that they know how to bring money in this country.
Mhm.
right? You can put money in a bank account in China, and we got the money in the ground here. We can give you.
Mhm.
So we're skipping all the processing fee and the thing.
Mhm. And the money laundering
Yes,
and the West and all the Western
right.
Union
And this is how we can,
requirements and all
this
of
is how
those
we can
things.
get money into the vice president's hand, right? This is how he can get his money,
Mhm.
right? It is mind-boggling.
Mhm.
I mean, you know there's corruption
Mhm.
because you know the wicked like that.
Mhm.
But when you see it in operation and you hear them, right, it's corruption to the second power
Mhm.
or to the third or the fourth power. And that is the level of which you don't see those people involved the corruption. You don't see anybody carrying a shop. You don't see them. You see the big sprawling mansions and the houses they live in and inhabit. Uh, you see the riverside picnics and so on. They go on to conduct business and such and so forth. No, no, no. In that whole 24 minutes, I think it was, I didn't see anybody walk in the office and officially meet somebody and say, I ain't seen nobody walking go invest. I ain't seen nobody walk in a bank and say, how do I transmit money from Beijing to Guyana? It's sheer runnings. It's sheer runnings. And if a country runs and runnings with a bad spot, with a bad, and it's how we at one level, as you said, your word this morning seems to be level. We at one level, you think about corruption as a certain thing like that. But it seemed very commonplace. Everybody at the top there with the money seemed to know this how you do it. Right? If you got the money, we can talk to the VP. Right? Everything good. Nobody was saying it in a shy way. Nobody, as a matter of fact, again, as we showed just now, you had these Chinese businessmen talking. Said if they weren't corrupt, we'd be surprised.
No, they said it's going to be more worrying.
Worrying.
Well, it's not surprise. Worrying and surprise.
If they weren't corrupt, I mean, that's an indictment on us as a people.
Worrying is that word has a different meaning than surprise.
Yeah.
What I would interpret that to mean is that if these folks were not corrupt, we would not have the straight passage to do what we have to do.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as easy as we pay them and they
Yeah.
do for us.
Yeah.
It would be worrying because then they would actually have to go through the system to get to what they want.
Very well.
And when they're going through the system, they're going to be competitors there that is going to be playing for the same things, and it's going to be worrying for them. So they prefer it to be a corrupt system. Guys, we've been talking about what is going on in our country. We've been consistently telling you, we talk about the corruption index. I mean, the only defense that I've ever heard coming from Barjaglia when it comes to the index and the numbers that are put against Guyana, especially when the people is in office, we are worse off ever on the index whenever they are in office.
It will be interesting to see how we do next year.
No, but the only defense that he comes with is to say that he doesn't trust the parameters by which the index measures corruption. Basically, that's his defense altogether in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
We know in this country, we've been saying it consistently, that corruption is there. That's the only way to get things done. These people literally have a fenced system in which they lock out anyone else.
Which is what's happening at that level.
That's what they do.
What is precisely
they lock out anyone else. So there are persons in our country that is making billions of dollars when persons are left with a $60,000 per month minimum wage.
There is no level playing field. There's no level playing field.
There's no equitable access.
There's a part in that documentary where I think it's Isabel Young says that Sujerang, and up until Isabel Young, we didn't know about him, is one of the largest landholders in this country, but yet nobody knew his name. You understand? You think those lands is his lands?
No.
Right? He got the largest forestry concessions. Right? You think somebody just sees you a loaner and gives you the largest forestry concession? Corruption in this country, it's so. Look, folks, we got a lot of work to do. I see Naomi is here. Naomi says, I watched that video with my husband, who's not Guyanese, and when she asked BJ if he takes bribe, and he said, no, my husband said he lied. Right? I nearly passed. I was like, everybody knows that. That is the moment in that video. and their quality is even better than the quality that he produced.
Mm.
Right? When that camera came up close, he suddenly my whole face trembling. You don't know where to go now because he wasn't expecting that. He telling her, you could call anybody name. No, you could come here and make all the accusations.
When she called the name.
When she called the name, oh God, that's the thing that's flooring. Corruption, rich in this country, rich, corruption. It's unfathomable the scale, and that documentary you only pull back the curtains a little bit, and you see some of the players in it, right? And people wonder how all these stores and distance are going up all over the place. Right? If you could move money like that and cheating the system, right? How the common man, Richard, going to play?
There is no play for the common man. There is no
Right?
play, not for the common man. And this I want to bring back. I want to bring back what I consistently say on these programs also, that when the administration go out there and they speak about private sector, don't for one second think that they're concerned with small and medium scale businesses. That's not their concern. It's never been their concern. So I know a lot of persons there, even ardent supporters of the PPP that operate small and medium scale businesses, they have been feeling the blunt of it also. But yet they're holding on to some hope that, oh, the pot cooking there is not for you, but that's not the pot cooking after.
A little pot.
You can get from the pot, right?
A little pot.
But they're not concerned with you.
Yeah.
They're not concerned with the small and medium scale businesses. That's not of their interest. You know, it's a group of persons that I don't understand what they're trying to do, where they want to put this money, what they want to use this money for.
How much
it's a level of greed that is unfathomable. I can't understand it.
Correct. You know, I said earlier on that it would have to be such a conspiracy to tarnish the vice president that all of those persons who were interviewed by Isabel Young were lying.
Yeah.
What is also would be mind-boggling, excuse me, mind-boggling is that Isabel Young comes to this country. They had a whiff something is happening. The Chinese are operating a certain way. Whoever you're looking for corrupt people to do business with, and they're directed to Sue as the man who could make these projects happen. And then strangers to this country, Sue says, if you want anything done, this is the man who needs to approve it.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?
But folks, let us be honest with ourselves. Prior to all of that, you knew yourself the way in which things were done in the country.
Yep.
You knew yourselves. But what you have now is you have now an investigation that was done that presents to you the evidence to confirm what you already knew. You had all the ideas of how it was done. You know that when you go to various sister organizations and so forth, you're not given any leverage when it comes to getting business done and all of that, because persons it's a quid pro quo system, something for something system. It's not okay, and we cannot continue to operate as though this is okay. It's completely not okay for us to be as Guyanese people, because we have an issue with this, you know. Some people, I know there are some folks that actually question, you know, if things are being done, you know, if business is being done, what's the problem and all of that. We have an issue because as Guyanese, you know, less than 1 million people in the country, as Guyanese, it is not okay for you Guyanese not to have leverage when it comes to doing business in your own country. A country that was built off of the backs of your ancestors. It is not okay for you to not have the leverage and the equitable access to the resources to get things done, as opposed to other people coming into the country. That is not okay, and that's what I've been consistently speaking about. Poor people in our country, we have to consistently continue to fight for those people, because going out there every now and again and throwing a little cash grant to them, that's not improving their standard of living. That is a further disrespect to those people. If you are not structuring the systems in place to make sure that they have equitable access and leverage to the wealth of our nation, then you are doing absolutely nothing for them. And that is my issue altogether. So, folks, we have a long, long way to go. We have to consistently keep hammering at these things. It is not okay for Guyanese to be suffering in a country that we are hearing about all the oil riches and all of that,
Yeah,
and people are punishing. No, it's not okay.
a very long way to go. And one of the questions that I saw, apologies there, one of the questions that I saw on this very issue that has to be asked, you know, one of the questions that we saw is if Boris Johnson infractions are even minor to this
Boris Johnson
and
would have
has to
been faced in
go
a court.
and has to go, what happened to Jack Deal?
Boris Johnson would have been facing the court in
Right?
any other country.
If Boris Johnson can resign for
If
lesser
that is,
indiscretion,
yep. Had it been Boris Johnson with these level of allegations,
lesser
any other country, he would
indiscretion,
have been facing the court.
right? What happened? But it tells you the kind of country we live in.
Yeah.
That is what it tells us. The kind of country we live in. And it comes back to what that quote unquote businessman said in the Vice News piece. It will be what? I'm saying surprising. It will be, what was the right word?
Worrying.
It will be worrying if they weren't corrupt.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine the presumption is that they're corrupt. Right?
No.
It's not innocent till proven guilty. It's guilty till they prove them to be otherwise.
Yeah.
And
it goes to
it
show,
will be worrying.
And it goes to show the issue that a lot of folks had on, and I wouldn't be myself if I didn't say it. It goes to show the issue that people had when it comes to the APNU AFC government, right? Could you imagine that businessmen learned the system? They have been operating under this system for 23 years. And then the worry comes when a new administration is in place that doesn't have that structure set up for them to have this direct access to what they want, right? Could you imagine what that does?
The cabal.
Right? Could you imagine what that does, And then all that was had, all the meetings what that was had in those little groupings to say, cease work, cease any new investments and all of that until we get back in office, so that you can have this non-worrying ease of access to the resources. And then folks want to know why we are where we are right now.
That's the challenge we have.
Folks, that's our time.
That's the challenge we have. The US has some comments.
Well, I'm seeing the U.S. Embassy in Guyana there. We have that coming through from news sources. The U.S. has long been an advocate for anti-corruption and the rule of law in Guyana, as well as free press, adding that consistent with Guyana's laws, accountability is the soundest approach to maintain confidence in government and a level playing field for all investors. First, I think you need to just soak in what was said, and this was prior. Soak in what was said here. This release from the U.S.
After Sugit. This was just after it was
exactly.
released.
This was. I think it was the day after the release. The first Vice News release that this came up. So the U.S. has long been an advocate for anti-corruption and rule of law in Guyana, as well as a free press. Adding that consistent with Guyana's laws, accountability is the soundest approach to maintain confidence in government and a level playing field for all investors. Again, going back to what we've been just speaking about, a level playing field for all investors. It's an uphill battle that we're with right about now.
Very much so.
Uphill battle, dangerous battle, all those words can be put together to describe the challenge before us that we're consistently fighting every single day. There is no easy way to break a system like that. There's no easy way to break it. Though the people that are involved in those things, both corrupt politicians and also the corrupt businessmen that goes through with those processes as well. All those individuals would do everything in their power to try to maintain that system. However, thankfully, we are still operating, still stringing on to some key aspects of democracy in our country. And one of those is the fact that we still go out to the polls and have elections. And that's when the people have to unify and the people's voice have to be as sound as sound can be. And there should be no margin of error when it comes. We should remove the difference from the margin of error to have a very resounding voice of the people that says that they don't want that level of corruption
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
managing the resources of our country at no point in time. It's
You know,
crazy.
Nigel, you says it best. Better must come.
Yes, better
Better
must
must come.
come.
That's our time, folks. We're gonna see you guys back on the podcast. In the ring. No program tomorrow. It's a holiday tomorrow. No programs
Yes,
tomorrow.
give Sherrod his
Tell you
rest,
that. No programs tomorrow.
to say the least.
We're gonna see you guys back um next week. Next week, Monday.
Yes.
Yeah, no programs
See you
tomorrow.
guys on Monday.
Yep. Podcast coming up. In the ring this evening. And
Are you
then
gonna make
we
it?
rest tomorrow. We'll see. And
So-
then we're gonna do and then we're gonna have the podcast on Sunday.
okay.
Back on Monday with FYI. Thanks for joining us, folks. Give us your share, smash that emoji button,
Mhm.
and also partner with us. We need your we need your help. We need your support. Thanks to those of you who already have.
Yes. Thank you so much for everything
Yep.
that you've done and continue to do what you're doing. You know, we appreciate each and every last one of you.
We do.
You are
We do.
family to us at this
In
point
sickness
in time.
and in health.
In sickness and in
We appreciate you guys.
You know, this is a different level.
Appreciate
So
you
thank
guys.
you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you later on in the day, hearing from you, seeing you on all of those things. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Stay safe.